Mario Kart World. I'm sure you've heard of it. The latest entry in the Mario franchise's kart racing series. Longly anticipated after the 11-year-long wait after Mario Kart 8. Or for most people, just 8 years. Or for the people who are wrong, 6 years since tour. Or for the people who think they're funny, 5. So more than a decade since the last real Mario Kart as a launch title for the hotly anticipated Nintendo Switch 2, originally developed for the original Switch, but moved to its younger sister for the increase in power to help the devs achieve what they were aiming for. Yes, the Switch 2 is a girl, no more questions to the end, thank you. A Mario Kart with interconnected tracks within a massive cohesive world. An idea likely in the heads of Nintendo for longer than just this game's development. When we got a closer look with the game back in the Switch 2 Direct, with how the courses are connected, it reminded me of Double Dash with how you could see other courses in the background of other tracks. Mario Kart has evolved a lot since its debut in 1992 with the objectively worst game in the franchise, yes, including the fake one since they don't force split screen down my throat. This series has gone through the highway and back, from pioneering the kart racing genre to doing it again in 3D, to getting in your pants, to double teaming, double screening, simulating drunk driving, Queen Bee the baddie, to defying gravity itself, after both of his platform rivals already did that. Huh? Oh god, he's in my house! So let's see what the latest Mario Kart game has to offer. For $80! This is Mario Kart World. Let's look at the Grand Prix first, since that's the first thing you do in every Mario Kart. Maybe not me, but we'll get to that later. First things first, the Mushroom Cup. You only get one chance at a first impression, and World knocks it out of the park. We start simple with Mario Bros. Circuit, an homage to the 1983 arcade classic, in name only outside of the enemies from that game being playable characters here. Other than that, it serves as a great introduction to the controls and mechanics. We ditched the anti-gravity from 8, but I don't mind this since the anti-gravity was just the reasoning for 8 to have more intricate level designs. We're only losing the wheel transformation and driving on the ceiling, as well as underwater driving. Instead, we take after Jesus and drive on top of the water. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, so I doubt Nabbit will mind. I consider this a whole upgrade from before. There wasn't really a difference between driving on land versus underwater, but on top leads to way more possibilities, such as activating tricks by jumping off the waves or by pressing the button right before you submerge back up from landing in the water, which is really fun. Gliding is the same as ever, except now you have wings instead of a glider, so it's about the same, but the big new mechanic World brings to the table is its parkour system. With it you can charge up a charge jump to either ride along rails, ropes, chains, zip lines, and even the walls. This lends itself to track design masterfully, allowing for more shortcut potential because even with the grinding and wall riding, after pressing the trick button again, you jump off of whatever you are riding along, and whatever you hit being a pole, a giant ring, or another racer's head if you want to be an asshole, as long as it has collision, which I haven't found anything in this game that doesn't, you can trick off of it. Just so long as you don't get carried away and drive off the course and get penalized by Lakitu. Dork. The parkour system is great. It makes racing on these courses so much fun. Oh, the courses, I should probably get back to those. And as a whole, I think most of them are great. Some filler, mostly killer. Most of them are up there with the best tracks in the series. A lot of people were skeptical about how they were going to incorporate the open world into these tracks via the Grand Prix. That being the intermission sequences between the tracks. After the first race being a normal 3-lap affair, you then take to the road, or in some cases, not even that, the route to the next course, for just 1 lap of that track. And I get how some people wouldn't like this, arguing how this lessens the impact of the courses with you spending less time in them, and how the path to the course can often feel barren with little to no obstacles to give the player any trouble. Many people saying you often just drive in a straight line. I understand those opinions, and if you really want the classic way of doing the Grand Prix, the game does give you the option to just drive to these courses in a 3-lap or more race. And all of them are designed with that in mind. So it's not like there's anything being lost here. And to be upfront, I think I prefer it this way over the traditional lap system. I was always a bigger fan of the courses that were divided into laps like Mount Wario or most of the Rainbow Roads. And I think it's cool that the last lap of each race is the course itself, and makes the finale hit harder in my opinion. And the intermissions do provide their own flair to the courses. There are less windy turns with more straightaways compared to the tracks, but I think there are more than enough things to keep you from driving mindlessly. Like these asshole bro enemies trying to relive Double Dash. Everyday Joes are trying to get to their home and their ice soup and mortgage. The Switch 2 wasn't cheap. these charging trucks that are, why are they playing in the road? And these giant bomber. Who the hell is making these and sending off self-driving bombs? And why are they all going to... Crown City is the next course after Mario Bros. Circuit. Just as beginner-friendly, but nothing much more than another city track to me. Nothing really stands out, even how the cups are laid out. You race on this track along with Peach Stadium twice. Maybe they couldn't find time to put in 2 more tracks and find a way to put them into the map. Not a big deal since these two have different enough layouts between the Mushroom and Shell cups, such as Mushroom having you drive across the rooftops and Shell including the time of day you drive them in. Yeah, that's another new thing in this game. The time of the day changes in real time, which you'll notice a lot more while in Free Roam or Knockout Tour. But this also goes for the Grand Prix, such as after Crown City, in the daytime you go to Whistletop Summit, while sundown is commencing, leading to a beautiful final lap in an expertly crafted course. It's probably my favorite in the Mushroom Cup, which is saying a lot given what follows is DK Spaceport, which is at its best when it's at night, and since it's lap divided by default, it makes a great finale. Just like with Mario Bros. Circuit, this is another homage to an even earlier Mario arcade game, Donkey Kong, which I'm surprised it took Mario Kart this long to base a track around, but nonetheless, this track is great. Going up across each lane, each more dangerous than the last, with the last level having Robo Kong throwing barrels while the music is going bananas. Unfortunately, next is the Flower Cup, blowing that amazing segue, which are all retro courses, strangely enough. It's not a big deal. Up to the Booster Course Pass, the rules of a cup being either fully original or retros was thrown out the window, so I guess it doesn't really matter. We got Desert Hills, no longer referencing Super Mario Bros. 3, but rather Super Mario Land, with the Toka Tokas and the Batidons, which makes sense given what follows is Shy Guy Bazaar, somehow even better than the original because it references Daisy's Kingdom, Sarasa Land. I'm so glad this course is back. There's so much ziplining over the bazaar and doing in Aladdin. It brings so much more life to this course. Next is Wario Stadium, which they improved greatly by removing half of the original. The N64 version took way too long and looked like it was made on the cheap. Given who it belonged to, it makes a lot of sense why, but I guess after his entrepreneurial pursuits in the video game industry of selling a console with a $10 instruction manual, he got the money to renovate this place and is a spectacular spectacle. Got a whole Mad Max Desert Coliseum thing going on here. And last but not least, after much anticipation, Airship Fortress. Just as awesome as I remember, but now it looks so good. Who knew a war zone in the sky could look so beautiful? Next up is the Star Cup, made up of both retro and nitro courses. Starting with DK Pass, also from DS. Still a solid track and a great choice to bring back, even if I do think Mount Warrior was the better option. I mean, they do both have a great ass. Next is Starview Peak, the only new course in the Cup, and it's the closest thing we'll ever get to driving through the Comet Observatory. And it's alright. Not a bad track, it's solid enough. And I do like the intermission of driving up the mountain, the final lap being just beautiful. The design of the building itself, the snowy forest backdrop, complete with the Aurora Borealis that I can see. As well as the stunning river of... I'm gonna call it water, but this looks way too clean, but still probably can't drink it though. Next is Sky High Sunday, the only course to be brought back from 8, or rather more specifically, its Booster Course Pass. Out of all the tracks, they picked the one that felt the most unfinished, almost as if it wasn't done yet and it was being made for a different game. With that being said, this is one hell of a glow-up. They actually let the devs finish cooking and give us another great course. It's still an oval, but now there's a lot more splits in the road with a lot of opportunities for wall riding and rail grinding. And it actually looks delicious now. That was the biggest complaint with the original. I did not want to lick the floors in the original. It'd be licking Candyland, just bland disappointment. If they had to pick only one course I made to bring back, I'm glad it's the one they could improve and help reach its full potential. And we still have 8 Deluxe to play on the Switch too, so I guess we don't need Shy Guy Falls here. I still would have liked it though. Lastly is Wario Shipyard from 7, and it's just as fun here as it was there. Even without the underwater driving, this track probably being the one changed the most to accommodate this. It doesn't feel like a shell of its former self, it still sells the setting of a ship crashed by Wario. A guy who doesn't strike me as a captain to go down with the ship. Absolutely would pull a Concordia. That name has got to be cursed or something. Long story short, track good and Wario is still on the run from the war crimes and death he committed on the ocean from negligence. The only thing worse than that is this game's Shell Cup. The weakest cup in the game, and it's not even close. It's not poorly designed or anything, all the tracks are good in their normal 3-lap versions, but in this cup they make me feel empty inside, just like a shell whose owner was just evicted, then killed. We start with Koopa Troopa Beach, an adaptation of the Super Mario Kart track Koopa Beach 2. Not Koopa Troopa Beach from N64, or Koopa Cape from Wii, or that basketball court from Mario Hoops 3-on-3, that's also called Koopa Troopa Beach. Just a simple SNES course, in all its 5-lap glory since it's just a wonky ass circle. Am I going too fast for you? Cause it's already over. Just a weak start to the cup in general. I do like the spring break party aesthetic, and this Koopa DJ guy seems like a cool guy, but other than that, weakest normal track in the game. Remember I said normal track. Next is Madagascar, Faraway Oasis. And this is way better, especially with the intermission, racing there while driving along the wild animals on your way there, and the course is well constructed too. This track is carrying this cup because next up is Crown City, again. And to be fair, it's not the same thing. You drive there through this giant bridge, which as an American makes me feel right at home, especially with all the bombs. And once you get to the track, it's nighttime. Instead of racing on the rooftops, it's along the alleyways across the busy nighttime roads. Some of these poor guys just getting off work, finishing by driving on the city's beach side. It's a good time, leading to the final track of the cup, Peach Stadium. Driving under the bridges of Crown City to submerging to the light of the sight of beautiful cherry blossom trees with their leaves scattered across the road, then finally reaching the coveted Peach Stadium. The castle being renovated with a train and rail system under it. That's so cool, and it's done. That's the Shell Cup, folks. I kid you not, they only give you a taste of the real Peach Stadium in this cup. Where it finishes here is where the real one begins, in the Crown Cup. But unlike Crown City, where it has 2 track designs for 2 different cups, here, it's just a rectangle. Could they not think of anything to do with a subway station under a castle? Something like Super Bowl Subway from 8. Imagine that, but with rail grinding and wall riding. Oh, you could have just reused it if you wanted to give 8 more than 1 retro representative along with Sky High Sunday, put 2 retros to match the other game's representations. And if not, then don't have it be the finale to the cup. How about you just reverse the order of the track so that we start here and end with Koopa Troopa Beach? Not much better, it's comparing a wet fart to a fart. They both stink. Worst cup in the game, moving on. Next is the Banana Cup. And I'm happy to say we're back on, pardon the pun, track. Uh-oh. Starting with Peach Beach from Double Dash. No longer a 3-lap course, but a 3-segment course, with the first lap being the normal lap, and the second lap having you race up to the city and fly between the buildings for some sick-ass parkour. And then the third lap, you drive along the beach back to where you started. Peach Beach is peak. Next is Salty Salty Speedway. A great new course, but I think it was a bad call to put it after Peach Beach. They do enough to differentiate them. It's just the beach city setting that blurs these two together. Great course, but the only reason I remember it is because of the Birdo statue in the menu. Next is Dino Dino Jungle, also from Double Dash. The only way they could improve this one was just add more dinosaurs. And they ain't just set dressing either. You can use the Triceratops as ramps, the Brachiosauruses and Plesiosauruses can be grinded on. There were T-Rexes! Jurassic Kart, baby! Pterodactyls! Bros before dinos! And to close out the Banana Cup is the track Great Block Ruin. Well, I wouldn't call it good, or great, or awesome, outstanding, amazing! Yeah, this track fucks. It's floating ruins in the sky that's objectively cool no matter the game, especially getting there in the transmission. No matter from where, you race to this giant geyser to lift you up there to one of the best tracks in the series. It's amazing, and the next cup ain't no slouch either. The Tanuki Cup starts strong with Cheep Cheep Falls, a beautiful course based around ancient Japanese iconography, similar to Ninja Hideaway in 8. It's just as gorgeous to look at as it is fun to race on. You drive up across the shrines, then behind the waterfall, never gets old, then down the river to the calm pond. Oh, that's the good shit. 10 out of 10 track. Next up is Dandelion Depth, where you race to this what looks to be abandoned construction site, or rather an excavation site. Because not much further, you drive underground to this beautiful cave filled with big dandelions. It's so pretty. And then there's Boo Cinema. But I wouldn't call this cinema. I'd call it Boo! But only if you're doing the regular 3-lap format. The intermission for this track helps immensely to flush this course out. Driving through this haunted forest to submerging out of it to the site of this giant abandoned building in the distance, across this swamp by driving on the boardwalks like a banshee. I didn't know what that was until after I wrote that. Then when you get to the building, you realize it's not a mansion, it's a movie theater. Then after getting your popcorn, adorable by the way, you enter the theater room and jump into the screen. Then you race on the film reels. That's sick as hell the first time you do it. Racing 3 laps on this course makes you realize how short and small this track is, and driving into the screen sorta loses its cinema magic after you've done it for the 3rd time, which is why I prefer the intermission version, since it saves it for the big finale. I feel as though a lot of these courses were designed with the intermissions in mind, more than the 3-lap format, instead of making sure both benefit as much as they could. I mean, as long as the track is fun to race on either, I'm happy. And Boo Cinema is still a really novel course, but the only Boo Cinema I want to see is Morty's movie, baby. I want to see the director's cut. Lastly, there's Dry Bones Burnout, which reminds me a lot of Bone Dry Dunes from 8, what with the hot climate and giant corpses and skeletons. But this track does enough to differentiate itself, namely its Dia de la Muertos theme really giving this track an amazing identity. A great end to the Tanuki Cup. And we ain't stopping our road trip just over Little Thunder, because here's the Lightning Cup, which has consistently been a highlight for me in Mario Kart games, and World delivers here as well. We start with Moo Moo Meadows. Is no one in Nintendo sick of this course? Because I'm not. It's Moo Moo Meadows. You can't hate Moo Moo Meadows. It's still as fun as ever, and they even kept the sun rising backdrop from 8. And look at the cows. How could you get sick of that face? Next is 64's Choco Mountain, going under some construction by these dickhead charging trucks. I bet they don't even like chocolate, which this course actually looks like now, and not just an ordinary mountain. I bet it tastes great as long as you don't eat chocolate that was ran over. Next up is Toad's Factory, baby. Oh, it was worth the wait. One of the most requested tracks to return in the Booster Course Pass is finally back now with the parkour system to make it even better. It's still just as chaotic and fun as it was on Wii. It's as beautiful as the day I lost you. And for the final track, we got this game's Bowser's Castle, motherfuckers. We get there by driving to and up a volcano and fly to the castle itself, flying hundreds of feet into the air because of all this science doodads and whatnot. Driving through the castle is still as fun as ever. Then we get to all the floating raceways, then we drive through the molten Bowser's mouth. Oh, that's so cool! Especially how he's coming out of this giant black cloud of smog. Once again, they've knocked it out of the park with Bowser's Castle. It even has Big Donut. The Lightning Cup is still king. Wait, king? Where's the crown? After beating these 7 cups, you unlock the final one, the Crown Cup, starting off with Acorn Heights. It's like Maple Treeway from Wii, but better. You drive through this village within this giant tree itself, which is really cute, then off this bridge to this canyon with giant leaves and mushrooms with countless parkour potential. Then a section with multiple split paths with acorns falling on you. I love tracks that make you feel all tiny and insignificant. Speaking of insignificant, Super Mario Kart, which the next track is from. Mario Circuit. Oh boy, which one is it this time? 1, sweet, safe, inoffensive, boring 1. Or maybe 2, don't forget the big jump. Ooh. How about 3? We haven't seen that one since, no, let me check here. The booster course pass? Oh my god, will someone please think about the Mario circuits? No, I'm not forgetting one. And neither did Nintendo, since all 3 of the Mario circuits are here merged into this Frankenstein of a track, somehow harmonizing into something that's actually fun to race through? Wait, what? Yeah, I didn't hate Mario Circuit in this game. They absolutely made the right call to bring all these tracks together in this throwback course that I'd say does a great job paying respects to the series' origins, which this game does in spades. Mario Circuit, you did good. I'm just happy it's not 4. Next up is Peach Stadium. It's weird how a Peach Castle stage is the track before Rainbow Road after it being Bowser after so many years. Especially how in this game Bowser's castle is all the way up in the sky, but this is still a great track nonetheless. Well designed, challenging, and just as fun as all the other tracks in this cup. That only leaves the grand finale, Rainbow Road. And my god, it's so beautiful. Racing across the water at night to this ray of light as the screen goes white when you go up it. And then you see it, in all its glory with the world you've been exploring to get there below you for an amazing view. The stained glass floor in the first lap is marvelous. Then before you know it, here's the second lap across this majestic river. It even has a little bridge. Then back to the glass with this lovely monochromatic blue look. And then we fly to this space station like the Rainbow Road in 8, but this time in color. Then we fly back to the regular road, or should I say roads, cause it looks like a bunch of noodles all funneling into one road, where you get to drive by a train with all the friends we made along the way who tried to kill us. And that's Rainbow Road. Once again being a fantastic finale for Mario Kart, and especially Mario Kart World. And that was the Grand Prix, but we're not done here yet, folks. We got Knockout Tour to look at next. The brand new mode introduced in this game to better flesh out the open world aspect. And while I don't think this is as good as Grand Prix, this mode does outshine it in one aspect: complete chaotic insanity. It's a race of 24 across 6 courses, each acting as a checkpoint. And after each one, 4 races are eliminated from the bottom spots. And unlike Grand Prix, there are no breaks until the final 4. And someone gets a nice try. Yeah, fucking loser. This mode is awesome, especially in online, and it only gets more stressful the less races there are, because the items are placement based, so the fewer the races there are, the less likely there will be items like Bullet Bill or mushrooms, items that will help you catch up. Just bananas, bombs, green shells, and maybe a flower, and the red shell being the strongest item in the later stages of Knockout Tour. There are only 6 rallies to choose from in this mode, which is a big missed opportunity seeing how there are over 100 routes to race on across the world. Maybe a random option to form a rally out of 6 courses for online, or do it like Versus Race and choose a course one after another in the menu and race on that. There being just 6 rallies to choose from is really limiting, even if all of them are great to race across. Knockout Tour is an amazing time, a great addition to the Mario Kart formula, just like Battle Mode, except in this game where it definitely got cucked compared to 8 Deluxe. 2 battle modes instead of 5, them being Balloon and Coin, with 8 stages shared between them, which like Vanilla 8 are the race courses, but unlike Vanilla 8, they actually had time to change them up and suit the battle mode, so it's actually fun. And while this is still an objective downgrade from 8 Deluxe, the truth is, I don't care about battle mode, so this means nothing to me. But I know a lot of people do like this mode, so I'm not gonna say this isn't an issue. Hopefully, if they add more content, they don't forget about battle mode and add in the missing game types. That just leaves the last new mode of this game, Free Roam. If they were going to make all the tracks in this game interconnected, them not letting us explore the world they intricately planned around would just be a missed opportunity. Thankfully, that's what we get to do, and I love this. Getting to explore these tracks is what I've wanted to do since I was a kid, especially the retro courses like Shy Guy Bazaar, Toad's Factory, Peach Beach, as well as the new tracks like Whistletop Summit, Great, Block Ruins, and Bowser's Castle. And they know how to reward your sense of curiosity, somewhat, with these question mark panels, which can be really challenging to get to sometimes, the Peach medallions hidden in some deviously sneaky places, and the P switches which activate P missions. which are everywhere and often put your skills to the test, and some of these are just really fun. I don't want to spoil any of them for you because a lot of them are hinging on the element of surprise, but there are so much more than just the standard blue coins and ring challenges. Some of them are tiny races with CPUs that act as cute little callbacks or a fun little obstacle course. Hope you're not a completionist though, because this game does not keep tabs about the missions or coins you've already done, or even spotted on the map. But it's not like there's a bigger reward for doing it all, so I don't really see this as a problem. Free roam is a lot of fun, but I don't see it as anything more than a time sink, similar to mission mode from DS, which is often the comparison, and it's likely that's what it was always meant to be. It's not even an option on the main menu, you just hit the plus button and you're immediately in the world driving, spotting other races, getting a drive-by snack, and listening to the good old radio. And that brings up another thing about this game I love, the soundtrack. Holy shit, it's incredible. And not just because it has, I think, about 3 different versions of Waluigi Pinball, but it has music from all the other Mario Kart games as well as the mainline games, and even some of the spin-offs like Luigi's Mansion, WarioWare, and DK's Jungle Hijinks. And even Flipnote Studios, This soundtrack is so good that I'm still listening to it even after writing this script. Yeah. And while the soundtrack, as well as the rest of the audio presentation, is phenomenal, I don't want to skip out on the visuals either. This game just looks so charming. Mario looks so squishy, Luigi giving off the most immaculate gay hip sways. Peach, Daisy, Rosalina, and Pauline all look stunning. I freaking adore DK's new design. Oh, I can't wait for Bonanza. Even though he'll kill me, I want to hug Bowser and look at Junior, look at him! Wario and Waluigi look so jolly and still probably smell terrible. Toad and Yoshi are still adorable and look just as fun to throw off a cliff, and Toadette is still the baddest bitch under the sun, especially with her new costumes, which most of the cast has. Unlocked by eating food out in the open world from Yoshi, which absolutely isn't cooking the species they're named after, as far as we know, or other places like Boo Cinema giving you popcorn. Adorable. Word of caution, if you're looking to unlock all the costumes as quick as possible, then buckle up because it is a process. When you eat a snack, your character that has unlockable costumes changes to a random costume that's only fixed depending on the location you're getting the food from. Like Luigi and Daisy's Oasis costumes unlocked in Shy Guy Bazaar Desert most of the time. It's a hassle, but at least it's a lot quicker than unlocking some of the enemies via the Kamek Orb, which is the worst experience in the game. A new item along with the ice flowers, hammers, and gold shells, an item I like in execution. What it does is transform the racers in front of you into a random enemy and spawns giant versions of those enemies or obstacles relating to the course along the track to add chaos. But I'd rather they just make this a wonder flower, just so we wouldn't lose Kamek as a racer after being denied so many years and finally getting in via tour, then in actual game via the booster course pass, downgraded to an item. What, after finally getting a taste of the race he realized he didn't want to get blue-shelled? Kamek, my boy, that's the best part, that's the name of the game! A bummer for sure, but the worst part about this is 11 of the racers are unlocked via this item. To unlock that character, you have to get hit by Kamek and transformed into that character. Let's take Dry Bones for instance, since that's the one I wanted the most because it's a dead fish. I shouldn't have to elaborate on why this is amazing. Anyone who says these guys are wasted item slots are an idiot. Look at the cow! How could you hate him? Anyway, back to bitching. The enemy Kamek turns you into is random, even when you're in a location with a specific enemy that only increases the chance of getting that enemy, never guaranteeing it. And this item is fairly rare, only appearing at most twice in a Grand Prix for me across all the time I put into this game. Even using the versus race method of controlling 2 characters with separate controllers and hitting myself with it, it appears so infrequently that I'll keep going forward and back and then go forward and back and then go forward and back and then for 1 foot forward until I finally get the stupid ass orb and hoping the geeky fuck doesn't miss, which has happened to me before after 7 minutes of grinding. There is still a chance it won't even turn you into the character you want because again, it's random! Come here and die, you bitch! And that's Mario Kart World. Is it worth the price Nintendo is asking for? My answer is yes. and no. Let me explain. If you're buying this game bundled with the $450 Switch 2 for an extra $50, then yes, absolutely. If you live anywhere else across the world and your prices are different, and that's your own can of worms. For that price, you'll get a fun-as-hell kart racer with amazing controls and a ton of characters to use across 32, technically 30, very well-designed courses across a giant open world, which is a lot of fun to sink your time into, as well as 2 other game modes, Knockout Tour and Battle Mode, both of which are a fun time, whether locally or online. So yeah, $50 is a no-brainer. But for $80, no. At least with a potential asterisk. You get everything I just said before, but compare it to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for $60, since Nintendo never drops their fucking prices. I mean, if people are buying, then why not, I guess. In that game, you get 48 tracks, including 8's base and DLC tracks, as well as a way better battle mode. Sure, there's no parkour, open world, and the online's not as good, but for $80 from $60, I expect a bit more, and that's not even putting the booster course pass into account, which sure is $5 more if you're not on the online expansion pass, but still 3 times the track is world. This is assuming if the game doesn't get post-launch content, which it definitely will, whether as free updates, which there fucking should be, or they're gonna be a third bot, or paid DLC, whether it be part of NSO or the expansion pass. Something like another island or giving us more options like 8 did on the Wii U. If you can't get the bundle for any reason, or you really want that case, then I'll either tell you to wait to find a used copy, or wait for a sale, but don't hold your breath for that one. $80 is a lot of money to ask for a video game, but let me ask you something. How do you value a video game? For me, it's 3 criteria: quality, replayability, and longevity. Mario Kart World is undoubtedly an amazing time, whether by yourself in free roam or trying to get a gold trophy. It's always a good time whether by yourself or with a buddy and or randos online. This is where its replayability shines, as it always has with Mario Kart. You never know how badly the RNG will fuck you over, and trying with every fiber of your being to claw back to first. It never gets old, a family gathering event we all look forward to. And since Mario Kart is always one per console, and seeing how we just started the Switch 2 with one hell of a bang, it's likely we'll be playing this Mario Kart for a while. Hopefully not as long as 8, but definitely at least a decade. I think Mario Kart World definitely meets all my criteria, but I know not everyone has the same views as me. If I paid $80, not $50, I think I'd get my money's worth in a few years. But that's just me. But whatever the price you pay for it, whether you already got it or not and you value my opinion for some reason and I've convinced you to pick it up a copy, I hope you have an amazing time with Mario Kart World as I am. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.